What do you think of when you see this design? Primitive, blocky, maybe even ugly? Maybe you see iconic, nostalgic, or classic even. Maybe something else. Maybe elemental if you'd ask me. Here you would see the classic livery of its primary colors, a visual language that would go on to influence every Gundam that would come after it. In this video, I'm going to break down all the ways you can buy this classic suit. It's the original, and it's going to be a big one. What's up, gang? This is Gunpla Declassified, where I break down all of the kits you can buy on your favorite mobile suits. And today we're talking about the OG Gramps, the White Devil, or the RX-78-02, if you're nasty. Over the past 45 years, Bandai has made an unbelievable amount of RX-78-02 kits over different scales, grades, and gimmicks. It's usually the first one of a new line and the first one to get a facelift, and well, rightfully so. It is the face of the franchise. So in this video, we're going to go through every regular production kit out there. I'm not really going to get into Bandai kits or any kind of weird variant. Otherwise, this video would be endless and
everybody would hate that.
The only exception to that rule would be this Master Grade Supreme version thing. Just because it rules. Look at it. It speaks for itself. If you see it, buy it. Maybe you don't really know what I'm talking about whenever I say the original Gundam. Maybe you don't really watch the shows or you're completely new to this. This is just that, the original Gundam from the 1979 show Mobile Suit Gundam. It's the Mobile Suit Gundam, and if you're looking to catch up with that, I would highly recommend the 3 movie edits of that show. It's the best way to enjoy it, a good way to catch up on the lore. They're fantastic. Set in Universal Century 0079, the original Mobile Suit Gundam show follows the story of the one-year war between the Earth Federation and the breakaway Principality of Zeon, the latter having a distinct advantage by dropping colonies and having weapons called mobile suits. The Federation counters with Operation V, developing their own mobile suits, including the Gundam. Teenager Amuro Ray becomes the reluctant pilot of the revolutionary RX-78-02. Amuro struggles with every nightmare scenario he is pitted against, battling through space and Earth by developing into a new type, or a human with evolved mental abilities, and is in every episode of the original show. Am I right? Am I wrong? And I think it's important for everybody who enjoys this hobby to have at least one original Gundam on their shelf, be it, love of the game, love of the original suit. Maybe you want to try out something new and different. You're going to have the OG Gundam in every line. It's simple enough to where you can see your growth. You can see the growth of the hobby itself with the new gimmicks, and really is just a wonderful thing to celebrate. Maybe I'm being a little overly sentimental, so let's just jump right into it. You might find non-grades or first grade, if you find them at all. They're
Kinda hard to find these days.
So they're everywhere. As much as I like to clown on myself, this is actually not a first grade kit or a reissue of it. This is the Best Mecha Collection kit that, while looks like the original 1980 kit, comes with better color separation and entry grade like tech. As you can see here, you can pull the parts out with your fingers. Now, I've never put together an entry grade before, so I thought it would be interesting to see how does it look whenever you put this thing together as intended, with your fingers. No tools, no snips, no nothing. Here we go. A little bit of effort, and there it comes out fairly easy, and well, I'll put that to the side. Now let's get the rest of this chest piece out and see how it looks, how it starts to form up. Now they did come out quite easy. There was very little struggle. I didn't find myself overworking the runner to get it out. Sometimes a little stubborn, but nothing too bad. While I was putting this together, I found this to be particularly amusing, especially for a veteran. They've added in these little haikus of reminiscence. such as here, like don't overglue or going into a store and not finding that kit that you wanted. Pretty common stuff, complaining about paints and what all you had to do to those original kits. I thought that was a nice touch, a good way to connect with the past with this modern kit as it is celebrating that original 1980 release. And here we go. Here's the final product. And my thoughts on it were, it's actually a nice little kit. Pleasantly surprised to see how very little tab were left on the piece. You don't have to go back. It certainly is not perfect by any stretch of the imagination, but for what it is, I think that it's a fine little piece of nostalgia and a little walk down memory lane. In its own way, kind of the most important kit I'll ever talk about is this one, because without it, there wouldn't be any of this. I'd be very excited to hand this off to my nephews who would want to build something. It's tough, maybe not younger kids, but this is definitely something that you could take out and have like an afternoon to play with. Or if you just want to jump in and have a little something to break your teeth on, this is not a poor way to go. Also, if you're a long time fan and you were one of those guys who were here 45 years ago, just want a little taste of nostalgia, this is great. This is a fantastic little kit. It really bridges the gap between now and then. Maybe you want something a little bit more modern looking with a more flattering cut, I guess you would say. That would be the garden variety entry grade. Using the same tech I demonstrated in this video, or really originally in this box was that tech packed in. You're going to have that no glue, no paint, no tools. This is something that you would also want to hand off to your kid or that person who may be just starting out and just want to be one of the boys or girls. It would be a fun afternoon hanging out, building models, growing your group, growing the hobby, and that's always good. The high-grade line began in 1990, and naturally it started at the beginning with the RX-78-02. This line would be a huge upgrade to the kits that were available in the 1980s. They featured better color separation, and actually looked more like the mech they were modeling than just toys. If you see it out there, this was the original kit. In 2001, it got a facelift and featured a whole decade's worth of new developments. This kit would be the gold standard on how most modern high grades would be made, even some that are still in production today. The new flagship kit in the high grade line would be this, the Revive RX-78-02 released in 2015. Commonly found in stores and online, this RX-78-02 kit features better articulation and proportion to the ones that preceded it, and is one of the cheapest kits you can get. Quite frankly, a perfect starting point. If you want something that has a more striking silhouette, you can get the Beyond Global version, a sleeker proportion trimmed up in a more athletic build that poses wonderfully. However, it comes with little in any way of accessories. If being lean and mean like the Beyond Global kit doesn't appeal to you, then maybe something like this would. This is based on the Mobile Suit Gundam, the Origin version of the RX-78-02, just filthy with accessories. I mean, lousy with gubbins. As the name would suggest, the Origin, that particular OVA covered parts of the war leading up to the very first episode. So this is like an earlier vision of the RX-78-02. So it has bits in there for the early type, this cool cannon on its shoulder, and this configuration has a few other bits and bobs on there. And then it has the more well-known later type in the war whenever Amuro gets his hands on it. This is a very versatile kit. It's new. Produced in 2020, this kit is going to have a lot of the amenities that come with those newer, nicer high grades. And I think including parts for the early type or the middle type, depending on which one you prefer, really comes with a lot of potential for good hobby moments and good storytelling moments. And I think that makes this a really fantastic kit. I'm very excited to pop into this thing. The last kit for high grade that I'd like to talk about almost didn't make the video until one of my friends pointed out. This is actually an RX-78-02 kit, and I'm talking about the G-Quacks. G-Quacks? Boy, if I didn't hit that at all, I know that I'm going to get roasted. Let me know in the comments. Hey, like and subscribe while you're at it too. This, as pointed out here, right here on the box, RX-78-02. This is the vision of RX-72 in the newest show, Mobile Suit Gundam G-Quux. This is a wildly experimental look of the Gundam. Like it or hate it, I think it's actually pretty cool. And with this kit being brand spanking new at only a couple of months old, this thing is going to be packed to the gills with new tech. Just looking at it, look at that color separation.
Nice.
Yeah, I don't think this one's going to be worth sleeping on. Get out there and try it out. I'm pretty excited about this one too. Both of these kits, yeah. Now, there is another version of this kit called the Red Gundam, technically not an RX-78-02, and has a few bits and bobs and a little bit different, and I think deserving of its own video. Check that out later. This box, Raggedy from Abuse, was the last kit I bought before going on my Warhammer hiatus. This is the original RX-78-02 released in 2010, part of the Gunpla 30th anniversary. It was advertised as a model of the real thing inspired by the 1/1 size real Gundam in Odaiba. Perfect grade detail in 1/44 scale. Intrigued and incredulous, I had to pick it up and try it out myself. And what I found inside blew me away. We had moving vents, we had color separation that was unmatched, articulation that was untouched even by some master grades, such as these, wait. Well, anyways, so this shoulder piece and, anyways, it had very, very good articulation and detail and, let me show you this knee joint. It had mechanical detail unmatched. And, okay, so I had a problem of being a little hand grenade. Early RG kits could be a bit delicate. There were some good ideas, there were some bad ideas. It was the first time that we really got to see such advanced mechanical detail in such a small package. They really did a great job. This kid is old enough now to get its driver's license, but back then, I could not imagine how they could get any better. Well, they made it better. Gone is the controversial advanced MS joint system, and in its place a new semi-monocoque design that feels just at home on the hobbyist shelf as it does the engineer's desk. Master grade, there's a bunch of these, and some of them I have to talk about even though they're not going to be easy to find because they're still technically
in production.
And what I mean by that is that Bandai will do a small run of these to restock shelves. Starting in 1995, the Master Grade line launched with this kit right here, much like the other lines I've talked about today, and this is the version 1. You may still find it out there. I would probably avoid this kit. It's very blocky, very 90s. It's really not got much going for it besides saying, hey, this is the very first Master Grade. Now, there's version 1.5, which is the one that I bought as a young man. Whoops. I have version 1.5, which I showed a little bit at the beginning of this video. Dusty, been sitting on my shelf for a long time. I didn't really know what I was doing when I was putting it together. When it came out, it had a lot of big improvements. It had a ton of accessories. That's one of the reasons I really liked it. And overall, just a huge leap forward for the Master line. Now the big one, the one that may be the internet's most favorite, and sometimes you can find this kit. They do still run it every once in a while. That would be the version 2 Master Grade. It came out in 2008. This one would be considered the best version that still retained the original Gundam silhouette from the TV show. And I'll tell you a little bit more about that, what I mean going into the newer kits. Had amazing articulation, a detailed inner frame, and a build experience that's still sought after. Very popular kit. So if that's the mountaintop, where do we go? You could also enjoy building the Gundam Ver-Ka. This is the very first Ver-Ka Master Grade. It's really its biggest claim to fame is that aesthetic. It was the first one to be redone by Hajime Kotoki and still sought after by some modelers. However, most people will still tell you to get the 2.0. Now, not to be outdone by its high-grade counterpart, this line also features an Origins, which, just like the other, bristling with accessories. This is a little bit newer kit itself and comes with a lot of gubbins. and it's super cool. Who doesn't like a bunch of stuff to go with their kit? The popularity of the Master Grade line has always pushed it to go further and further into mechanical detail and pushing the boundaries of what they can do in a kit. So they cooked this thing up. This is the Master Grade 3.0 of the RX-78-02. It's a little bit controversial, and I'll tell you why here in a second, but let's talk about its shining points. It's more in line with that original real grade that I showed earlier. They're both based off of the same inspired Odaiba Gundam. They both take design cues from that Gundam and really push a mechanical realism not seen in other kits. But is that a good thing? Some people would rather go with the 2.0 because of its build experience and the original anime accuracy, as I have just bought this myself. I have not put this together, and maybe that would be a good follow-up video with my thoughts. But just looking on the outside of this, I am excited to see that there's a lot of new tech, but still no Gundam hammer. What's wrong, Bandai? Afraid to go to Flavor Town these days? Yeah, perfect grade. There's this thing you can buy. It was super cool in the 1990s whenever it came out. I mean, we all were super stoked about it, but we're not here to talk about that kit. It's old. Wasn't even the first perfect grade.
Congratulations! Congratulations! Congratulations!
Which is wild. And if you see that there, it's fine, whatever. Don't buy that kit. You don't want that kit. You want the whole enchilada. That perfect grade. Unleashed. Daddy's home. Yeah, this thing's crazy. It's less of a model kit and more of an engineering experiment. Massive in size, incredible mechanical detail, and that museum piece vibe when it's finished. It was like all us nerdy boys got together and it's like, hey, yeah, let's just make a real Gundam. Let's just make a mock-up of a little Gundam with the tubes and the bots and the bibs. Insane articulation, full layered armored mechanics, LEDs, opening hatches, pistons, the kitchen sink, the whole thing. There really is no compromise. What can be said about this kit besides the ultimate in model building? Well, we still got that other perfect grade to talk about, but that'll also be another half-hour video. Maybe that perfect grade is a little too expensive or a little too demanding of skill and time. I get it, that thing is intimidating, but if you still want that big old kit, you can go with the mega size, not bound by the tedious build that could come with a more complicated kit. This is just a big old kit that has a huge room presence. It really kind of dominates everything around it. They're fun to build, they're fun to paint, they're fun to show off, and they're not going to be this huge financial burden. I think they're 100 bones. I could get in the weeds with a lot of stuff, like all the little SD Gundams. There's a bunch of them. There's tons of them. You could talk about the ones that had many variants, like the Ecopla one that was made from recycled plastic and weird colors. Any number of clear colored pieces or titanium finished pieces, but they're going to be hard to find in stores. You'll probably have to get them off the internet at some exorbitant price, and not really the focus of my videos. Well, RX-78-02 fans, did you learn anything today? Did you find that next kit? Well, I hope you did. Hey, thanks for watching today. We talk about little plastic models for half an hour. I really love it. I hope I can impart some of that enthusiasm on you to go out there and start building some model kits with me. If there's a mobile suit that you would like to see talked about, comment down below. Hey, if I got some of the stuff wrong, comment down below. If you haven't seen my video on grade yet, go check that out. It's a little off the rails, but it's overall entertaining and informative. Thanks again, and this has been Gunpla Declassified. This thing's so sick. I'm just too cheap to get it. Is there a Gucci Gundam out there? Oh, man, that would rule. Hey, dog, I only buy designer kits. No, they make that 7-Eleven thing. So where's that Wawa Gundam? We know the Bucky one's coming.